Hey, this is Christian Buckley with another MVP Buzz Chat interview, and I'm here this morning with Veronika. Hey, well, I guess good
Great.
afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Um,
So why don't you, people that don't know who you are, what you do, why don't you introduce yourself, where you are, what you do, and what your MVP is in?
so hi everyone. My name is Veronika Kolesnikova. I am currently living right next to Boston, right south of Boston. So I usually say Boston. And I'm working for Rightpoint. It's a consulting agency. It's actually all over the place, but I'm working in Boston office, and officially I'm a backend web developer. But I'm really passionate about AI. So my MVP is in AI. I'm really interested in machine learning. I am interested in Xamarin. I am a huge C#.NET fan. So I like everything around that.
You know, the last week I've interviewed 3 or 4 developer technology MVPs and 1 cloud and data center management MVP, and they all talked about the same stuff: AI and automation, C#, WSP. They're talking about well, um, you know, getting into a lot of the detail. I know solving some slightly different problems around this kind of. So what kind of work are you doing in AI today? Is it, are you getting into kind of the bleeding edge of what Microsoft is pushing out there?
Yeah, so I'm really impressed by cognitive services. That's actually how I started my AI journey. I don't have any background in AI. I don't have any education. I had a couple of courses when I was doing my bachelor.
So are you saying that your master's degree was a waste of time? Is that what you're saying?
No. It was a great experience, but it was, I got master's in information technology, so it's more about IT management. And we didn't dig deeper into AI or any coding. We actually didn't do any coding in grad school.
Yeah. Well, it's I know there's a lot going on, and of course probably the thing that is out there in front that most people talk about, AI and in the Microsoft community is Project Cortex. I know there's a lot of other things going on. We were chatting about briefly, like Bill Bear, who was in the SharePoint world and who was, a old a peer of mine when I was an employee, is now moved over to on the search side of the house and focused on Azure AI capabilities. But there's a lot that's happening in just about every product area around AI.
Yeah. Again, cognitive services, they're awesome. They are updating them regularly. They changed a lot of things, but not in a bad way, in a good way. So they're improving them all the time. And then, they released ML.NET recently. So that is getting bigger and bigger. Um, I don't know, I'm trying to bring more interest to ML.NET since it's kind of new for us developers. I know that Microsoft has been using ML.NET inside for Office products and some other tools that they're building. But for us non-Microsoft people, it's pretty new.
It is, but some of the more exciting things I'm trying to remember, it's been a few years when Microsoft first started talking about, what is now, I mean, largely under the cognitive services, started talking about expanding the reach of search, of enterprise search, so that it was, it's attached to this is 5-6 years ago, attached to your social profile. And that was actually part of a Bing effort to change the way search looked at. But even from that enterprise, one of the things I was most excited about the LinkedIn acquisition was thinking about expanded search across the LinkedIn data and profiles, which would be amazing. But now the ability to go to the like office.com site and do a web search there and get results back from your internal systems based on your permissions, what's on your desktop, and from the cloud, that's a lot of this cognitive services capability that we've been hearing about.
Yeah, and Microsoft is obviously using the data that they're gaining from different products, from Office products, and then usually when someone is using their cognitive services, um, lots of people there are willing to share their data in order for Microsoft to improve their models. And the better the models, the better it works.
So, are you with some of your client projects now? I mean, is it something that you're working with and explaining to customers and deploying now, building out for them?
So unfortunately, I don't do lots of AI work for Rightpoint. We had a couple of projects where I was building bots. So there had an opportunity to use the bot framework and then Lewis, Q&A Maker, all that fun stuff. But I'm just exploring all the cognitive services on my own. I have a couple of personal projects that I'm building. I'm also trying to make them open source. So I have a GitHub account.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to write about my experience in my blog. I'm not a good writer. I'm a better speaker than a writer.
Well, so now speaking of AI, so if you create your content in Word, use the new dictation tool, it is vastly improved over older versions of it. So I've started doing that myself. I can talk. Obviously, I can talk faster than I can type.
Yeah.
But started to use it. It's amazing how accurate it is. It is. So you should check that out. You've not started playing with that.
I should do it. Yeah.
Well, so since you're kind of finding your own way through that, I mean, where would you recommend if people want to find out more about? I mean, obviously, I could go to Microsoft on their Azure site. They've got a site. I think it's just under Azure.Microsoft, where where all the cognitive services, all the rest of the AI content is out there. But do you have any kind of go-to resources that you leverage?
It's a good question. So I really like Microsoft documentation. Usually people get weird when I say that because Microsoft wasn't that great just several years ago at
Right. Yeah.
documentation. Now they're getting better and better, and their documentation is awesome. So they have everything there, and it's easy to access. As you mentioned, you just go to the Azure portal, you are creating your new resource, whether it's cognitive service or something else, and right there you have link to documentation with samples, with some links to GitHub. Um, you can learn everything there. But I'm also active on social media, especially Twitter.
Yep.
So people post lots of interesting things about technology. And program managers and team members from Microsoft, they post a lot of interesting stuff. So that's a good way to be on top of everything and learn about the latest and greatest about all those technologies.
Yep. So I don't know if you've participated in one of, I run monthly tweet jams out on Twitter, but one of the things, so it's just a 1 hour event every month. I've been doing it for 8.5 years now, and I've only missed 3 or 4 months in all that time on different topics. So I've done AI in the past, but I'm a paid Hootsuite user. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I absolutely love if I'm doing a special topic in a tweet jam is I'll go and I have a CollabTalk tweet jam page or board, but I'll create then a feed around specific hashtags within that space. So when I did one on ethics in AI
Mhm.
a couple years ago, and I just remember, so I still have that. I don't have it open right here, but you still have that column there of 3 or 4 key hashtags from there. And so that's where I go for news as well, because there's a lot of people like us, a lot of MVPs that, and I do this. So I've got kind of a steady stream of collaboration related topics. If I see anything come in, I'll go build it into my stream. And so over the next day or two, it'll go out. And so when you find people that are consistently sharing you good information, I follow those people, or I build them into that feed, and I stay up on things that way. So I agree. Tapping into the community and the social aspects is one of my primary ways of staying informed on a topic.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So what kind of things are you presenting about right now? What are you? Well, obviously nobody's traveling, no one's going to events, but have you ramped up your online activities? Are you doing more online events?
I'm just starting out. I definitely prefer to present in person. I want that feedback. I
Yeah,
want people looking at me. I want questions right away. So that's what excites me.
agreed. Exactly the same thing. Yeah,
But now everything is moving online, so I got a couple of opportunities to do presentations virtually. Recently, we had global AI event. I presented there. I think they recorded it and it's still available on YouTube. I think it won't be available forever, but they'll keep it there for some time.
Yeah, you'll have to send me a link to that. I'll share it out.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm helping with Boston Azure user group. So I'm helping with their organization, and we're a little behind in moving our stuff online. But this week we're gonna host our first virtual event. So hopefully it will work.
Very, very cool. Who else is involved? Who's part of the organizing committee for that?
So Boston Azure, we have the main organizer is Bill Wilder. And we also combine our forces with North Boston Azure user group.
Yep.
Jason Haley is the main person there. So since we moved to virtual space, we decided to combine our forces.
Well, we're doing a lot of that. Like here, I'm based in just south of Salt Lake City, and so we've been benefiting from having more and more speakers from around the world participate. I mean, that's the one nice thing about it's. I mean, we've always had webinars as kind of a secondary thing, but still do the in person. But I complain that I have to drive 45 minutes to an hour in traffic to get there for the evening meetings. I'm presenting this month, and now I don't have to drive. It worked out.
Yeah.
No, but it seems like the number of people we've always sent out invites like come present to our user group virtually, and now that everybody's home, we have more and more people are like, hey, sign me up. Let's pick a date. And so we've increased our activity. We'll have to have you come and present for our user group too. That's a topic. We have a pretty good sized AI user group here in the Salt Lake Valley. So there's a 12 to 14 Microsoft related user groups in northern Utah where most of the people are. And that's one of the bigger ones that they have their events out on Meetup and have pretty sizable lists. So, but we'd love to have you come out and present.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Veronika, so people want to find out more about you, get in touch, where your blog is, all that kind of stuff. What are the best ways to reach you?
So I'm really active on Twitter. That's the best way to reach me. My DMs are open, so people can ask questions or, I don't know, to just check with me what's going on. People can also reach out through LinkedIn. I am there once in a while, but please write who you are because it's really confusing.
Yeah, well, you can. I always like to say, like, if people don't provide introductions, then they're selling something.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Veronika, really appreciate taking the time today, and stay. Of course, stay safe out there, and hope you have a great week.
Thanks. You too.